Hi everybody, I'm just doing a video here on couplings. You may have seen in my April update I had a couple of issues, and one of those was the first Great Western HST that I've got, which runs a particular type of bogies. I'll talk about those in a second. The other one is I've got a couple of these Bachmann Intermodals, and I was having a problem with these as well. So I decided to change them for these, which are the Hunt's coupling with magnetic connections. That's what I was looking at doing. I was running them with some KDs. I think the KDs do work nicely if you need to interconnect, disconnect. I probably still will run these between the loco so that I can easily disconnect them when I've got my kind of freight area going. But I'm going to try using these particular Hunt couplings, which are on their website, and particularly for the Bachmann Intermodals. So you've got some longer ones and some shorter ones. I'm assuming the longer ones go here where you've got twin buffers, and then the other ones go into these ones which have got these singular ends on them. So I'm going to give them a go. They come with no instructions, so I'm not really sure, but I'm kind of assuming that's the kind of the correct way of fitting them. So I'm going to fit them and have a little run around the loop. Whilst fitting the magnetic couplings, I came across this problem. This was not moving correctly, and I've just taken it apart and I realised that the spring just here is not connected to the coupling shaft, whatever you want to call it. This may have been the reason why I was having a problem with this particular set. Anyway, always coming off because this hadn't got free movement because it wasn't being pulled back by the spring. I'll fix that, get them on the track and see what happens. Now I've run it around a couple of times and it did work, kind of. I was getting a derailment and it turned out it was to do with this set of bogies just here and this wheel set. Now what was happening was it was actually pushed up. It wasn't flexible like this, it was actually doing this. So this set of wheels were hovering over the top of the track. So whenever this sort of came over anything like a join, it basically dislodged the entire thing. Originally I thought it was to do with the fact that I was running the correct intermodal couple, the magnetic coupler, as per what came from West Coast, or the Hunt's coupling packages. But that wasn't the problem, so I ended up taking it off, and I'll show you what is under there. So when you take this off, the actual issue with this was it was here, just underneath this coupling. It's got a small, I don't know what you call it. It was like a little lip, and the lip wasn't going into the right spot. So it meant that it was effectively above an element inside there, which you can't really see it, but it was definitely there. And it was above it, which was effectively causing the bogie to sit kind of like that, because of the way that it was housed. I pushed it into place, and that resolved the problem completely. You might just be able to see that. It sort of fits under there, and it wasn't in the right spot. Once I'd put that in, everything worked well. The only thing that I was having a problem with then was the 57 that I'm running it in. I think it must have a set of wheel sets which are not correctly spaced, which I shall check. I'm just going to change. I do have a struggle trying to get these little screws in, so I'm going to see if this particular tool makes it any easier. I think the screw head is too large for it. So yes, the intermodals are now fixed. They are working as they should, which is really good news. The only thing I will do is I'll test it again, and that's now working nice and freely. So that is now working nice and freely, as you can see. And I may change this to the shorter version again, because that is what they are meant to be. So you can see if I do that now, the actual original connections are quite tough to get in. So you can see it's only fractionally difference in length actually between the intermodal version and the other end with the twin buffers. It's only a couple of mil probably. You have to just make sure that the little circle is facing up, so that I guess the magnetic orientation is the right way around. So I'll just pop that in. So it is much shorter inside there, and I hope to see that they work together nicely. This is the other end that I swapped over, so I'll just take, I should just take this one out as well. So I just realised the ones I've put in are, are the wrong ones. That is the actual intermodal versions. I'll just turn those around so you can see the difference in length. I'll just see if I can, they are a bit different, so I'm going to have to just go and change those briefly again on the other end, so just for a pair of those. So when I come to these, I always tend to ensure that they fit the right around like that. So that's going to be the bottom. So they should now be good to go on the layout. I'm still running a KD at the end, just so that I can swap ends with the loco easily, especially over some magnetic uncouplers, so I can give those a run. So yeah, the couplings I was talking about is these on these MK3 coaches. You can see that they've got the standard kind of tension lock, but they've got these really horrible connections which I was really struggling with. And you may have heard in my April update that I had a little bit of a derailment around one of the curves. They're a little bit close, and the HST and the 800 collided, and I ended up with a bit of a zigzaggy moment of coaches. It looked like a real proper accident. Now, part of that accident caused not a bogie in its entirety to pop out, but it did pull a coupling completely out, and by doing that it actually dislodged, as you saw, this connection just here, which I didn't realise popped off. So you can just see here that the connection itself does pop out like so. And that was a bit of a revelation, because originally I was trying to make the connection work with one of those couplings, and I was trying to rebuild in a 3D print this type of connection. And the ends have a little bit of a flex to it, because they obviously need to grip around some little bit that sticks out, which you can just see in here. And I was having the right problem. I didn't realise it'd come off, so when I was trying to put it in, I was getting lots of different connections built, and ultimately they were all snapping as I was sort of trying to force them into that area. So this is one of the prototypes that I made with sort of with an end to it, and whenever I popped it in, it wouldn't work. And this is actually the first time I tried this. I was trying to get it in there, and as you can see, it does go in, but it just doesn't grip. And either the hole was too big, or it was too small, or if I made it too small, it just didn't have any flex. So if you tried to push those, in fact, actually, I didn't print these, somebody else printed these for me, and whatever resin they use has got a little bit more flex than the resin that I've got. Anyway, so I decided to modify my 3D design, and I ended up with something like this. So I've just used a permanent marker to mark that as black, so that I could effectively just fit it in and over that hole there. Now it is a bit fiddly. Once it's in, and then you just put the plastic clip over the end again. As I said, this is the fiddly bit, but once you get it in and aligned, it's not coming out. So once you get it in and aligned, and you can get it over the clip and over the correct space for the hole. Now once it's in, it's not coming out, which is really good. Now that is a little bit too long, and I have made a couple of different types just by shortening those. So here are a couple of the other prototypes that I've done. I've got one like this, and I've got one which is significantly shorter. So I'm going to give those a try on these Mark IIIs and see how they behave. Now I never measured this one, but this one has got, and it goes right to the end there. So it's certainly by sheer luck rather than anything else that actually fits. So yeah, if I put that as black as well, and I paint that in a black, I think that'll look pretty reasonable. I'll give that a shot, give that a go. Glue a bit of magnet in there and see what happens. So here is the first Great Western with the Mark III coaches. I think they might have airfix bogies on them. Anyway, you'll shortly see the two versions that I've created. One which was close coupled, and that was purely by accident how close they are, which is on screen now. And the other one was the ones that I just made randomly long, and that's where they are. And I'm going to show you how they perform around a couple of the curves on the layout. So this is going around one of the kind of tighter curves, the radius 2, and as you can see, that close coupling actually works really well. I think I'm going to try to print up a few more of those in black if I can get my plant-based resin to work nicely. And just another view here going around another relatively tight curve, radius 2. The close coupling and the longer one seem to work very well. Here's a little bit of bonus footage, my HST. I've decided to use the DJI Osmo that I've got. I stuck it onto a wagon to try to make it run around the layout so you can see what it looks like. Kind of, it's a little bit high I guess for a driver's perspective, but you should be able to see the HST going past. So thanks very much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe and the like button if you enjoyed the videos, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.